Hello there and welcome my friends, it's MenvyWings coming at you from my GTOemga Racing Chair. Now, just a quick little note, I'm trying a quote-unquote different sort of setup where I basically cut down the video you're seeing or the gameplay footage into essentially more sort of action-packed, somewhat more interesting footage. A lot of my gameplay is, of course, jungling, and honestly, it's not very interesting most of the time. All you're going to be doing is just sort of staring at me, hitting these sort of various camps and then occasionally looking around the map. So I'm trying to cut down essentially the sort of like 20-25 minute games into just somewhere around sort of the 10-minute mark, highlighting any sort of interesting scuttles, sort of skirmishes, kills, or perhaps sieges of the towers. We'll see what the sort of stats are like on those videos, and hopefully it's a little bit more interesting for you guys. Now, on to the topic: Wildrift, the mobile, versus League of Legends, the PC version, and why is it that I have returned to League of Legends because of Wildrift? And let's just hit it off with the main point, and that is essentially quicker games and my attention span, or more importantly, just how invested I get into video games. Honestly, I have this really bad habit of either not playing something or playing a lot, and we're talking like at least 12 hours every single day. Doesn't matter if I'm at university, doesn't matter if I'm working, it honestly doesn't matter what I'm doing or at what point in my life I am. When I'm playing video games, I go hard, and I don't play multiple games. I envy people that can do that. Jump from sort of, one single player game onto another, just play a bit of COD, Counter-Strike on the side, maybe whip out some old school Tibia. Hands up for, the Tibia lovers. Honestly, I do want to go back to Tibia, but that game, oh my god. The grind fest is real. Speaking of grinding, RuneScape, I honestly wish I had the time to play RuneScape. World of Warcraft, I'm still 50-50 whether I would enjoy playing World of Warcraft again. It would certainly take over my life. But League of Legends, the PC version, there is no denying that games last significantly longer. They're more complex, and honestly, time is money, as people say. And the fact that mobile has much faster sort of pace, the momentum of games, it's honestly, you just can't compare it to League of Legends, the PC. And being able to squeeze in a game or two anywhere at any time without, having to dedicate an hour slot. Not to mention, some games can even go beyond that on the PC version. It's just honestly a nice change. Let's of course not forget about the fact that the more games you can squeeze into, that sort of time slot, the more likely you're to sort of, well, not more likely to win, but you're able to squeeze in more games and essentially rise or fall depending on whether you're, winning or losing. The point is, more games equals higher chance of climbing if you do actually manage to win. So in reality, you could even argue that Wildrift has the potential to sort of have easier climbs or faster paced climbs if, you're going for that diamond, challenger, or potentially grandmaster ranks. And honestly, at the time of recording this, I am low Emerald 2. So the Diamond Dream keeps on living, and potentially we might be there before the season ends in 3 days. So, quicker games. We've established that I have no self-control. When I play video games, I play them like hard. Wildrift. With Wildrift, I'm almost able to sort of control how much I play. Although that doesn't really make sense. Like, I still spend an equal amount of hours in the game, but the fact that the games are quicker, it almost allows me to respond to any sort of messages, you know, in between games. That's every 20 minutes, as opposed to, you know, every hour in other games. That's, you know, League of Legends, the PC version. And honestly, we've run into the issue of, you know, the fact that it's a mobile game and I do have to exit the game to respond to, you know, your sort of like other apps. Just a quick note, you can actually sort that issue out if you're running into that. WhatsApp does have a PC client, so you can respond from your computer without actually having to exit the sort of Wildrift application on your phone. Which honestly, even when you minimize the game, that's the one thing that I absolutely despise. It loads entirely, like, again. Like, doesn't matter if you just exit for a moment. My game just shuts down, and then I have to stare at the loading screen, and that's a minute lost of my time. When it comes to Snapchat, I still haven't found a workaround. In fact, when I'm playing video games, and honestly, most of the time, I just despise Snapchat. The fact that I need to exit whatever I'm doing and I can't respond from the title screen, it honestly pains me. Like, it genuinely brings me pain. So, we can respond to WhatsApp messages from your laptop or computer anywhere nearby. Same thing can be said for Bumble, Tinder, and most applications. That does include your sort of Telegrams and your Kicks. Now, those of you that do know what Kick is, shame on you. Shame on you, you dirty little perverts. So, number 1, quicker games. Able to squeeze in more games and essentially control other aspects of your life while still, quote-unquote, no-lifing this game. On top of that, it's a new game. Now, League of Legends is a bit more complex. Now, it could be just that Wildrift is new and it still has that sort of quote-unquote complexity to grow. Looking back at my sort of League of Legends early days when, you know, there were a couple of champions, one of which being Anivia and Annie that I still recall. Oh, Ashe was still around. I believe she was one of the very first ones. I could be wrong though. So back from those days, League of Legends, it's very much different, more complex. And in fact, even looking back at sort of, you know, the sort of League of Legends videos right now that are sort of still being released, the sort of various champions, the game has changed a ton and improved and grew more complex. And it does every single season. I haven't played League of Legends for essentially 2 or 3 years at least. I still do keep up to date, watching the occasional sort of, you know, video or two. So I am sort of in that community, but not really. I might try returning to League of Legends in the future. We'll see how I'm doing on Wildrift and whether, you know, when I do get to Diamond, which hopefully will be at the end of this season, towards the end of this season. I would like to finish the season in Diamond. We will see if that is doable, although I am off to a party tomorrow, so we shall see how that goes. Hopefully there will be no drinking, because I cannot be hungover and playing Wildrift. I have done that once or twice, and honestly, that has been a lost streak, and not a pretty one. We're talking 0-10 and with 2 assists, like that kind of vibe. Not ideal, and I would prefer if that doesn't happen. So, we can safely say that wildrift is less complex, meaning the sort of skill ceiling isn't as high yet. So it is a very sort of nice point of entry if you don't want to learn all the nuance points of, you know, League of Legends, the PC version. On top of that, the third point, portability. The fact that I can play League of Legends, well, wildrift, anywhere, it's honestly brilliant. Now, the gyms have been closed for a while, and, you know, I do feel a certain distaste towards that, but I can safely assume and predict, in fact, that when the gyms open, I will be one of those cardio bunnies on, you know, the sort of treadmill, perhaps on one of those bike machines, going hard on wildrift whilst I'm getting my sort of cardio in. And honestly, 4G, and especially with 5G coming in, it's often better than most Wi-Fi networks that I'm able to play on right now. So, these were my 3 points as to why I'm playing Wildrift and why I've ditched League of Legends, the PC version, and in fact why I came back to gaming in general because of Wildrift releasing on mobile. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts and why you're playing Wildrift and not the PC version. And as always, take care, guys.